All right, y'all. New map be great. Todd, Todd Boyd, nigga. I thought Todd Boyd was gonna be that dude, nigga. That shit was crazy. Let's see what my nigga look talking about.
Boyd is out on bond this morning. He
Oh
faces
no.
simple assault charges. Why it took so long for Boyd to be arrested?
Damn.
Georgia Tech's got a little. Tajh.
Let me ask you a question. Why was Clemson football so good from the time frame of 2015 all the way up into 2020? I think some people would say, well, Matt, they had a pretty good defense, and I can't fault your argument. But for me, it was always the elite quarterback play that stood out the most. Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence
Real quick, nigga. I remember when they won the national championship later. You know what I'm saying, with Deshaun and them. And the run, the number 10, damn, I forgot his name, nigga, the linebacker. That nigga was like, man, this is for all the Tajh Boys of the world, for the D Hops, and you know what I'm saying. He shout out all the old players because it was Tajh Boyd, DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy Watkins, nigga, Isaiah Spiller, nigga. It was all these niggas who kind of started that culture. Before that, these niggas sucked, nigga. I remember that shit.
really took Clemson to that next level. And for that reason, they got a couple championships.
Look at me naming them players, nigga. I know what's up.
And before Deshaun Watson, there was this guy. Who is this random guy, and just how good is he, you may ask? Well, watch this.
Boyd to try to take it back. He's going to take another deep shot. He's got a man out there. It's right.
Matt, come on, man. It was a good throw, I'll give you that, but it was nothing too special, and I agree. I don't think the throw alone should impress you, but here's what should. That was his 96th career touchdown pass, which broke the ACC.
96. Oh
Let me show you a
wow.
play that really signifies how
See?
Boyd played when he was at Clemson.
Boyd with time.
He steps up in the pocket, and you're thinking, okay, he's about to scramble, but that's what made him so good, is he kept his eyes upfield at all times. It also helped that he had a really strong arm, and he can make a lot of throws that many quarterbacks couldn't.
Now he's pressured. He can keep plays alive. Throw.
He finds his wide receiver, and from there on out, it's off to the races. How about this? It's September 17th, 2011, and Clemson is hosting Auburn, who is currently on a 17-game winning streak.
Damn.
As you can see, they're trailing to Auburn 21-7, and it's 3rd and 10. This was a huge and pivotal play. If you don't get it, Auburn could go up by 3 scores heading into half. Boyd's going to drop back, and I'll let him take it from here.
And Boyd leveled, but he completes.
Not only did Boyd get lit up, but so did his wide receiver.
Yeah.
That is one of Boyd's most underrated plays, and when you consider the magnitude of that play, it makes it even better. Clemson overcame the 14-point deficit and beat Auburn 38-24 that day. I know it seems like I've shared a lot with you already, but trust me when I say this, it doesn't do Boyd's career any justice, not even to the slightest. In just 3 years of collegiate football, he had over 100 touchdown passes. 3 years.
Nigga was that dude, bruh.
And he did it efficiently, too. He wasn't just going out here gunslinging.
This is when I was naive, though. Like I said, if you were good in college, nigga, I thought you were about to be a Hall of Famer in the NFL.
I mean this in the most.
And I realized, like, that's not how that shit worked,
After his
nigga.
career, the guy was non-existent, at least up until this incident. He got in a little bit of trouble, and hey, man, we've all been there. We all make mistakes.
Hey, didn't this
But
nigga
the
have a
question
video with
still
like
holds true, and it's what
he
everybody's
was
been
kicking
asking
it with
these
like
past
2,
couple
3
of years.
hoes?
What happened to
That
Tajh
shit was
Boyd?
crazy.
Where is this guy? What has he been up to? And what is he doing now? Those are questions we're going to try to answer and get to the bottom of in today's video. This is the Tajh Boyd story. Tajh Boyd was not a late bloomer or anything of that nature. He was a prodigy from the start. Everyone knew at an early age this kid was destined to play football, and it's what he was going to do, and he was going to be really good at it. For his high school career, he played in Hampton, Virginia, and he led his team to not 1, but 2 state championships.
Nice.
With an overall record combined of 43-2.
Nice.
Not bad if I gotta say so myself. This was good enough to earn him a 5-star ranking in the recruiting world. You know what I'm about to say next. Every school in the country wanted him, but he decided to commit and sign with Clemson. This was a major pickup because I'm going to remind some of y'all, this wasn't when Clemson was a perennial powerhouse. Not that they're a powerhouse now by any stretch of the imagination, but they had a good run from.
I was gonna say, this nigga, he sound like a hater, man.
When he
You better
arrives at
stop.
Clemson in 2009, he redshirts his first year, and then in 2010, he's a backup quarterback. He saw minimal action. If you are curious, I'll show you his numbers. He had 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions with 329 passing yards.
Okay,
Like I
he
said, not
just
too
came out
much
and
to
did
say
some
there.
cleanup
However,
work.
in 2011, this is when he took over. They started out the year on a hot streak. They beat Auburn, and at the time, this was a bigger win than what it eventually would become, who was on a 17-game winning streak coming off a BCS championship 38-24. They followed that up with 2 straight wins over ACC opponents. Then they go on this 3-game stretch where you start to understand and realize, okay, Clemson, they're not going to try to shut you down defensively. They're going to try to outscore you. Against Boston College, 36 points. Maryland, 56. And North Carolina, 59.
And they were just beating the brakes off of
Guys,
fools.
this is back in 2011. This isn't the modern era of college football. You didn't see that every day. Scoring 56 and 59 in back-to-back Power 5 matchups. I don't care if it's a cupcake or a bottom feeder in the conference. You don't see that a lot. But the most important part of beating Maryland and North Carolina is it put Clemson Tajh Boyd to an impressive 8-0. So now you're looking at this season like, well, dang. We're a couple wins away from competing for a national championship, maybe. Unfortunately, the train got off the track quick because they ended the year on a bad note. And when I say bad note, I mean a really, really, really bad note. Lost to Georgia Tech by 14 and got blown out by NC State and South Carolina.
Oh, damn.
They did win the ACC championship that year against Virginia Tech, which I guess is all right. Well, it's not
Nice.
all right. It's really good.
Yeah, damn,
But
nigga.
I can't help but
They got
remember
tough
this
critic on
2011
that.
season as the year in which Clemson just
Orange
got
Bowl.
obliterated by West Virginia in the bowl game, 70 to
70?
33. I still can't get over that to this day. 70
Damn.
in a bowl game? That's
Who was the
absurd.
quarterback?
To tell you the truth, West Virginia probably could have scored a little bit more if they really wanted to. Anyways, it was a bittersweet 2011 season for Clemson fans. Started out great, didn't end great, but at the end of the day, are you really going to count the season in which you won an ACC championship as a disappointment? I don't think so. Let me show you Tajh Boyd's numbers that year. He completed about 60% of his passes, had 3,800 passing yards with 33 touchdowns to 12
picks is a lot.
Heading into a 2012 season, there was a lot of expectations on Boyd and Clemson, and they delivered. In 2012, they finished 11-2, and the whole remedy of that season is they won the games they were supposed to win, but they couldn't win the big ones. The 2 games they really needed to win that year, they didn't win, and it kind of makes it all for nothing.
They probably
You
would've
didn't
went to the
beat
Natty if they
Florida
won just
State,
one of
and you
those
also
games.
didn't beat South Carolina in the final regular season matchup. So yet again, here we are in 2012, another good season, but it wasn't great. In 2012, Boyd's numbers increased significantly. He jumped up his completion percentage from 60 to 67. That is a major increase. Passing yards stayed relatively the same, around 3,900, had 36 touchdowns to 13 INTs. If you do want to nitpick, you could say, well, Matt, he's kind of thrown a lot of interceptions, and I hear you.
If he would have
but
kept
since
those
he's
under
thrown the ball
double-digit
with so much
INTs,
volume,
man, that would have been
his
a big look
36
for the Scouts.
touchdowns, someone makes up for it. He reminds me of Colt Brennan, who played for Hawaii. 36 touchdowns to 13 INTs is close to a 3-to-1 touchdown-interception ratio. Heading into 2013, you could feel it. Clemson fans, they were getting impatient. They were like, all right, Tajh Boyd's coming back for his final season. We got a good team. We need to compete for a championship now. Because you could feel it. Clemson was right there. They were on the cups of it. But in similar fashion in 2012, really similar fashion, it's almost scary, they couldn't win the games that mattered the most. They did start the year with a great win over Georgia. You look up, they're 6-0, heading into a matchup with guess who? The Cinnamon Rolls. Ah, yes, the good old
Florida State,
Cinnamon
man.
Rolls.
Always upsetting some
Finally
people's
get over
shit.
the hump? The answer to that question is no. Florida State annihilated them 51-14.
Ooh.
Boyd struggled in this game mightily, although it probably wouldn't have mattered too much.
That boy
17
famous
37,
Jameis, boy, he
150
wasn't
yards,
playing
1
that year
touchdown, 2
anyways.
INTs. That was the Florida State team that had Jameis Winston, and we know what happened there. Following that game, they run off 4 straight. They're 10-1 heading into the final matchup with, similar to 2012, South Carolina. Another really important game that year, South Carolina was a ranked team, and they lost 31-17. And this is where pattern recognition it comes into play. I say it all the
Citadel.
time in college
What the fuck is
football, when you're talking about the top dogs, you are only going to go as far as your quarterback can take you. I'm not talking about your fringe top 25 teams like maybe a UCLA or Miami,
Yeah, I know
Colorado,
it was-
teams like that. No. I am talking about your top 5 to maybe top 10-ish teams. Because all your teams like Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Oklahoma, when it comes to the trenches and skilled players, they're all relatively similar. There's not too big of a skill gap there. So the only thing that's going to separate teams like that are, number 1, pivotal plays, and number 2,
Keep your eyes downfield.
quarterback. The quarterback position is so important in big-time matchups because he touches the ball in almost every single play. And when Tajh Boyd and Clemson, they had a big matchup, if he played really good, more times than not they won. If he didn't play so good, more times than not they lost. It's as simple as that. For example, against Georgia starting that year, he was 18 for 30, had 270 passing yards with 3 touchdowns.
Todd Gurley was
Clemson
going
won.
Yankee.
Although
Damn.
they ended the regular season on a disappointing note against South Carolina, they did win the bowl game against Ohio State 40-35. in which Boyd had a solid performance, was 31 for 40.
Damn, 5 touchdowns.
378 passing yards with 5 touchdowns.
Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, he had
was
2
a Niner.
interceptions, but I think it's safe to say he made up for them. Oh yeah, can't forget to mention, he had 20 carries for $127 and 1 touchdown on the ground. He was superb in that game. What a way to cap off your college career. He finished that 2013 season by increasing his completion percentage to a career high of 68.5%. You can round that up to 69. Carbon copy paste when it comes to passing yards, and he had 34 touchdowns to 11 INTs. Say what you want about the man, but he was Mr. Consistent. For 3 years straight, he was around the 3,800 passing yard mark, and he had around 30 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. The dude could play, man, the dude could play. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of hype surrounding his name heading into the draft. Me personally,
I was
always
surprised.
liked
I
Tajh
remember.
Boyd. I thought he was a quarterback where if he got selected and drafted by the right team and he got developed correctly, because a lot of times we see these young men get developed incorrectly, and
I feel like he was better than Geno Smith at the time,
but that's a different conversation for a
hell do I
different day. Getting back on track here, like I was saying, if he got developed correctly, I thought he could be a bridge quarterback maybe in the NFL. If you don't know what a bridge quarterback is, I'll dumb it down for you. It's essentially a backup quarterback that from time to time will start some games for a team, and maybe they even start an entire season because that team, they're looking to get a quarterback in the up-and-coming draft or injury, something like that. And potentially, he could have been a guy who starts a couple of seasons. But teams in the NFL, they just didn't see the hype surrounding this guy, so he fell to the 6th round. This is where the Jets selected him with the 213th overall pick. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is where things get downright. Young man playing sports, it is your dream to get drafted. It's one of the best days of your life. So although, yeah, he slipped through the crevices, the cracks in the draft,
Getting drafted is still a big deal.
he is going to have the chance and the opportunity only many can dream of. He is going to play in the NFL, and he's going to get a chance to prove himself. But wait a minute. Hold on. Only a few months after the 2014 draft, the Jets released him. He officially got released in August of 2014, right before the season. Let me put this into a better perspective. That'd be the equivalent to you seeing a guy getting drafted in this most recent draft that just happened, and he gets released next month. It's like, wait a minute. What? You didn't even give the guy a shot? That baffled me, and I did a lot of digging and research on this, and according to reports, here's what went down and here's what happened. In training camp, Tajh Boyd was bad, and some people even stated he was awful. He wasn't even competing for the backup role for the Jets. He was competing for the 3rd string spot, and he lost it to Matt Sims. In other terms, if you don't know what I'm saying here, Tajh Boyd was QB4. It was also stated
maybe was he the
he
product of the
overwhelmed by
offense
the
at
transition to a
Clemson? I don't
pro-style
know.
offense after years in Clemson's spread option.
Okay, there it is.
Interesting. Like we just talked about. I think a player's success in the NBA or NFL is not solely dependent, but it is really dependent on the franchise that drafts you. You go to a good franchise like the Miami Heat or the Warriors, you're probably going to succeed. Whereas if you go to the Charlotte Hornets, nah, your chances of succeeding are near as high as if you go to the Warriors or Heat. To make a long story short, it was one of those situations where it didn't work out and Boyd didn't fit the system. Take a listen to this. So, after he gets released, he then signs with the FXFL, a league I've never heard of up until right now.
I was saying, you fucked me up. I ain't never heard of that one before. I thought it was the XFL. The nigga panned out.
He signed with the Florida Black Tips. He would then change teams and play for the Boston Brawlers in that year. Not too much to say for that league. Fast forward time in 2015, he signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers. So now he's back into the NFL, which you like to see, but after he signed with them in 2015, in March, they waived him in August of the same year, 2015. A month later, in September of 2015, still in the same year, so just giving you an update on the time frame, he signs with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This is a team out of the CFL, but only a month after, in October, he gets released. So now at this point in time, we got to talk about it. This wasn't just it wasn't a good fit with the Jets. It seems like everywhere he goes, it's not a good fit. Yet again, we're going to go back to this. It's something we've been talking about on this channel now the past couple of videos, pattern recognition. If it doesn't work out with the Jets, the first team, you could chalk it up to, well, he wasn't given a fair shot. He wasn't given a real legit opportunity. But then it starts happening with a couple more teams, and you got to face the harsh reality of maybe Tajh Boyd ain't cut out for football after college. Let me offer you an example, put this into a better perspective so people like me and you can relate. This would be the equivalent of a girl accusing one of your bros of cheating on you. And you're like, what? No, that's my guy. I've known him for 15, 20 years. He wouldn't do something like that. Then he starts talking to a new girl and she accuses him of cheating on her and talking to other girls as well. Same thing happens with the girl after that.
This nigga bad stupid,
you gotta come to terms with reality, and you start asking yourself the question of, well, dang,
fuck.
Bro is a cheater. Maybe my friend isn't loyal. Maybe he is a cheater, and I know that wasn't the greatest example I've ever used on this channel, but you should get the point. As much as we love Tajh Boyd, it just didn't seem like things were working out. After that very brief stint with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, he then signs with the Montreal Alouettes. New team, same story. They released him right after. While all this is going on, you could say that Boyd was getting a little frustrated with how the way things have turned out, and he's getting down on himself. To make matters even worse, in the summer of 2016, he got arrested. He got into a scuffle with a bouncer at the bar where it was basically a he said, she said thing. He pushed him, then Boyd pushed him back, and yada, yada, yada. You know how it goes. Tajh Boyd got charged with assault and battery. It was a terrible look at the time, so they came to I guess you'd say a nice little deal, settlement, where Boyd would pay the guy who he pushed, assaulted, whatever you want to call it, $5,000, and he was going to do 40 hours of community service. Also, and this is
I would have get that nigga $300. Bitch ass nigga here.
Not too long after that incident in 2016, this is when Boyd he started up his coaching career, and I'm happy and proud to announce in 2021. So really fast forward in time here, he rejoined Clemson as an assistant coach working with the offense. As to where it stands today, he is still currently an offense analyst for Clemson, and that's where he is, and that's the end all be all. The way things ended, it's kind of fitting that he ended back up at Clemson, and I like it. I think it's a great fit. I also think he enjoys coaching, and I'm wishing him best of luck. A guy that is as gifted and as good as Tajh Boyd would almost be doing a disservice not to coach these kids and get back to the game. Let's address the two questions we sometimes ask at the end of these videos. Number one, why didn't things work out for Tajh Boyd? From everything I looked at when I was covering this video and doing research, I came to the conclusion of his play style just didn't mold well with the NFL. That's all I'm going to chalk it up to. Wasn't a good fit. As much as I like to talk, if I can keep things simple and short, or short and simple, that's how the saying goes, I like to do it. Secondly, is Tajh Boyd a winner or a loser? I don't even know why I'm asking it because it's not for debate. He's most certainly a winner. Sure, things didn't work out after college, but what makes you a winner in this life isn't what happens to you, it's how you respond. If you are getting up every single day and trying to become a better version of yourself, trying to improve your life and be a great person, that's winning to me. He kept trying hard. Yeah, things didn't work out, but look where he's at now with the persistence. He has a great job. He's around football. I bet he wouldn't trade it for the world. To Tajh Boyd, if you are somehow, some way seeing this video, my brother, I'm wishing you the best of luck, and I hope you continue to see a lot of success in not only your career, but in your life as well. There's many more things I could say. We'll end it off here. Let me know your thoughts down below. But Robin,
yeah, man, that Taj, like I said, when I was younger, I thought he was, and he was the man. Shit, nigga, you don't just throw 100 touchdowns. That shit's not easy to come by, nigga. Division I, nigga, ACC at that. But hey, man, like he said, Boyd's a winner, and you never know. What if one day Dabo leaves and he becomes a head coach? It'd be a good look. He did a lot for the school. He didn't bring him a national championship, but he paved the way. So, man, shout out Tajh Boyd. Shout out Matt Be Great. Give him a follow. Give me a follow. Peace.